Starlog. It is currently Thursday, the 26th of the 11th month. It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't know if I've said that already. My mind is slipping. I've been thinking about different things that I'd like to talk about, and I thought maybe I'd like to talk about horror games. I love those, or how I felt completely betrayed by a Sonic racing game. Then I realized that I wanted a sense of community, and it's that time of the night where things just get a little wholesome, and I wanted to start my review now. End date, 4:31 a.m. Growing up, I lived in a town that was literally only 9 blocks called Torrington, and it was known for a go-for-a-hole museum, and the museum was one room, and it was a couple, just this old couple that owned it, and they would just change the outfits on these actual just stuffed gophers and just turn them into firefighters and all these other weird stuff, things, grammar. But what they would do is they'd charge you $0.25 to go in, and I don't know how they stayed open, but my neighbor was the sheriff, and he was 83 years old. His name was Otto. I think he's still alive. He might be immortal. But we had a school, an abandoned school, and we always wanted to break in, but we were horrified. We thought it was haunted because it was just old as shit. My grandma grew up in that town. We moved there shortly after I was born. We went from the city to this tiny little town because it cost $130 a month for rent there. It was amazing for my parents when they were younger. And yeah, we found out my grandma actually went to school at that school. So it was old as shit, actually. And it was just this quaint little town. There really was nothing to it besides just the people there. And I used to ride my dirt bike through town because I knew the worst thing that would ever happen was I'd have an old guy who was just mad at me. Cops were 30 minutes away. It was just a secluded little town. There was a horse, just this random horse, and someone built a shed for it, and it lived in that shed. And growing up, I played Harvest Moon, Another Wonderful Life. And it was just the same thing, except I played as an adult, and I had a life. And my favorite part is I got to play a game recently with Brooklyn, Stardew Valley. I've been playing it for a long time. I have 100 hours on that game, and I've spent probably 40 with Brooklyn. And we got to live in that town together recently, and it's been something that was just enjoyable and fun. And I thought that right now, in the dead of night, why don't we talk about something that's actually wholesome and just talk about Stardew Valley. At its core, Stardew Valley really is just a farming simulator, but they added a bunch of other stuff as well just to make it something unique on its own. They have fishing, you can go into the mines, and well, that's really it. You take care of your animals, and you just take care of your crops as well as the seasons change. You can raise a family, you can actually get married with a bunch of different people in this game too. Every year, my town had a bunch of different events that they would hold, and one of them was just known as the Torrington Garage Sale, and for some reason, everybody just knew what that was, so the surrounding 4 to 5 towns would all join in on this and come see what we were all selling. Everyone in that 9-block town, maybe 120 people at most, got together and on the same day of the year would hold this giant garage sale. My sister, she was probably 4 at the time. I was 7, maybe? But she opened a lemonade stand, and I remember I went and I stole $7 from her lemonade stand. And when I wandered around, I saw the ugliest thing, the ugliest stuffed animal, and I bought it. It was this little cow as flat as a pancake, just smushed. And I asked how much, and I bought him for the $7. and his name was Mr. Moo Moo Cowman, and I still have, look at, I got Mr. Moo Moo Cowman right here. I still have him. After all these years. And it was just one of those things that was a special town event that I got to participate in, and if you guys had anything like that, please let me know. I think she's still mad that I stole money from her as a kid. But I just want to do something wholesome and talk about community for this video, and for this I decided that when I show off Stardew, we'd actually just hand out cakes. When me and my dad had to live in tents for a little while there, it was actually the homeless community that showed us how to live, and they told us what churches to go to and what days to get food if we need it, and they actually gave us swim passes for the pool for the summer so we would be able to actually live without overheating. It was them that actually helped us the most. So I thought we should give Linus the cake first. Growing up, I forgot how to make friends, and that sounds like something so dumb, but it feels so wrong just to walk up to someone and say, hey, do you want to be friends? So games like this, that just give you a sense of community, are something that is just precious. And I don't know how else to explain it besides the fact that you can feel whole even if you're by yourself thanks to people who create games like this. What's a game that's actually close to your heart for similar reasons? Like Penny said, it was special, and it doesn't have to be something that's genuinely special or not. Something that I have since I was actually born is, it's just this little teddy bear, and I was actually smaller than this when I was born. I was born premature because of, well, I don't know, something happened. But my parents were young, and that meant there was a lot of limitations on them. They always wanted to give me, and all my siblings, any and everything they could, but that doesn't mean you're able to. And something I always loved was my dad would always get me a Hot Wheel and bring one home every now and then because it was only $1, but it was something that we could play with, and every now and then he'd come home with a track, we'd build it, and of course, a track, you forget about that, it goes away, but he always got me different Hot Wheels just so then I'd have something. He'd bring something home for me, and then I told you guys the story about how my brother stole them all. But we still got them somewhere, and what's a gift that you've gotten that was just incredibly special to you? Whether it was from someone in your family or someone you loved. Maybe it's someone you still love. Let me know. Of course you get a cake, Jody. We gotta give another cake to somebody. This one's a dumber one. My dad, when he went to the hardware store, since we used to do construction, he owned his own business for that, and just as a thank you, he brought a bucket of KFC, because there's a bunch of people, why not? And no one wanted to touch it or eat it. They thought something might be wrong with it just because who gives someone a bucket of KFC, you know? What's a weird gift that you were given or gave someone? Not something that's just weird, but just something unorthodox. Unorthodox was a good word for it because the whole point of this video was community. I want to share some of my stories and I want to hear some of yours. The whole point that I wanted to make for this video is that no matter what game you play, even that can make you feel at home. A good book can make you feel at home. Maybe your favorite TV show or movie will just take you back to somewhere that just makes you smile again. I just wanted to hear some of your stories, and hopefully you didn't mind hearing some of mine. Stardew Valley is a great game, and I didn't want to talk about what you could do in the game, and I didn't want to talk about just the weird side stuff, the stuff that it's not about. When he made the game, he took all of his favorite parts from Harvest Moon and turned them into a single game, and that game is Stardew. He took what made him feel at home and what gave him a sense of community and gave it to others. So let me hear about yours, and I'll see you next time. If you stuck around these last couple seconds, Stardew Valley was the game I want to talk about, and I'm gonna give it a review. Like I said, I gave it 100 hours, and that's for good reason. It's a game that is worth putting your time into. And I'll give this game a 7 out of 10. It's one that I still play, go back to, and every time there's an update, I get excited. Stardew Valley gets a 7 out of 10 from me, and I seriously recommend playing it if you just need a place comfortable. Good night, everyone.